going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chucky, I didn't say.
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. Happy Saturday. I don't say that very often, but happy Saturday. This is a great change of pace.
How is the
That was weird. That was an accident. That's what happens when I hit my headphones. If I do that, there's a play button magically on my headphones. All right. Yeah. Now I'm lost. No idea how to recover from that. Let's just go. You guys just want to go? Let's just go. This first one, we are in Washington. This is oh, I always get them confused. Battleground or Battle Creek, whichever one's in Washington, not Michigan. And this lady, this defendant, she has multiple DUIs and she is above a point three, point three. Yes. Yeah, this one's weird. Well, it's not weird. It's wild and dumb, but it's interesting. Okay, before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. Let's go.
Griffith matter ready to go? All right, let's go ahead and call that matter. And how are you asking to proceed for your client today?
Set for change of plea, Your Honor. We previously were set for this. There were some scheduling conflicts and I think some dockets that ran long. And so we had to, not intentionally, but we had to kick it out this far. So that was the only basis for the delay. I have the original change of plea if I may approach.
Great, sounds good.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. All right, Miss Griffith, so I've been handed a packet of paperwork here from your attorney. Did you review this with him?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to go over it with you. What is your full, true, and correct name?
Christina Jeanette Griffith,
Thank you. And how old are you, ma'am?
52,
And your highest degree or highest level of education?
Bachelor of Arts degree.
Thank you. All right. And the charge with which or crime with which you are charged is DUI. And ultimately, the elements are as follows and set out in the plea paperwork. You understand by entering a plea of guilty here today, you're going to be giving up several of your rights. Those rights include the right to a speedy public trial by an impartial jury of your peers, right to remain silent before, during trial, the right to refuse to testify against yourself, the right at trial to hear and question witnesses who testify against you, the right to testify on your own behalf and have witnesses testify for you at no expense to you, the right to be presumed innocent unless the charge is proven beyond a reasonable doubt or you enter a plea of guilty, and then ultimately your right to appeal after a guilty plea versus a trial are different, and your right to appeal will be more limited. Do you understand those rights, and are you willing to give those up today by entering a guilty plea?
I do and I am.
All right, thank you, ma'am. In consideration of your guilty plea, additionally, your right to appeal is limited, as I mentioned. The maximums with this crime are, as that you're pleading guilty to, are 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. That is the maximums with which you can be sentenced to, not necessarily what you would be sentenced to, just the maximums. The prosecuting attorney is making no recommendation. Is this free to argue?
It's free to argue, Your Honor.
All right, so the prosecuting attorney is going to make their recommendation on a sentence, and then your attorney is going to make their recommendation on a sentence. Ultimately, it'll be up to me to determine what the appropriate sentence is for you up to those maximums if I find it's appropriate under the law and based on the allegations in your case. Additional sentences or additional conditions of your sentence can include up to 5 years of probation, as well as fines and fees, restitution if necessary. I'm not asking you, ma'am, about your citizenship status, but if you're not a citizen of the United States, pleading guilty to a crime could have impacts on your citizenship status and or potential deportation issues. Do you need additional time to speak to an attorney about that?
No.
All right, thank you. Moving along here, this plea of guilty will result in a suspension or revocation of your driver's license. There's a minimum period. It's listed in here as 4 years. The department.
There's a chart somewhere. I don't know. I think if you click the join button, even if you're already a member, I think the chart might be there. I have no idea. It's the default. I didn't change them. I actually meant to put in my own personalized membership icons, but I didn't remember to do that, and because I don't see them on this end, I don't see them on StreamYard. I it never crosses my mind. But yeah, there's a chart somewhere.
Of licensing may impose a longer suspension period. That's going to be up to them based on your driving record, but there is a minimum required suspension period of 4 years. Ultimately, you can discuss with them or set your administrative hearings regarding your licensing issues with Department of Licensing, but they cannot go below that minimum suspension requirement. Additionally, this case does involve DUI, and so the penalties are additional for you in the event you have additional DUIs. That's included in the DUI attachment, which I believe should be attached to this packet.
Should be there, Your Honor.
Yep, I do see it in here in the chart. So this chart here that includes additional penalties, did you review that with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so this is a DUI, and so it does count for additional enhanced penalties if you do receive another DUI or qualifying offense within the next 7 years, okay? So make sure you stay out of trouble moving forward. Mandatory minimums in this case, is this a first and 7?
No, there is there's a first within 7 in Washington and a 2019 California.
Is that a conviction?
There's a conviction in the 2019, and then there is a deferred prosecution in Clark County that is active, hasn't gone to revocation at this point. So we've got 2 prior offenses. Your
All
Honor.
right, so this is going to be a third within 7.
That's accurate.
So in terms of our mandatory minimums, looking at your jail time, it's 90 days jail of the 364.
And Your Honor, this one isn't over 0.17, so our mandatory minimum is 120.
Thank you. That was going to be my next
Yep.
question, if we're in the above 1.5. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in here on the
Very well. Your Honor.
paperwork here. So you have mandatory and minimum penalties, ma'am. Those are as outlined both by the prosecutor just now and in this chart here. So we're looking at you said 120 jail for the man-min,
Yep. let me
correct?
pull-
And then can you give me the EHM, please?
Yes, I can. 120 minimum jail, 150 mandatory EHM or 10 days jail alternative.
Okay.
And then there is, which I believe defense may argue for, the alternative to mandatory jail and EHM would be a required 360 days.
All right, and then in terms of mandatory minimum fines and fees, I'm looking here.
2,945 and 50 cents.
All right, counsel, you agree with that mandatory minimum?
That's
on
accurate,
fees?
Your Honor.
Thank you. Gonna add that in here as well. 2,945 and 50.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Earth is gonna get hit by a meteor, or we're gonna, cause a atomic winter before that happens. So we don't have to worry about the star. We have plenty other things to worry about.
50 cents. Those are the mandatory minimum fees that cannot be reduced. All right, perfect. All right, ma'am, so those are your mandatory minimum penalties. They can't be suspended or minimized any other, but there are some alternatives that it sounds like.
It doesn't get spicy like people yelling. When they start going through the facts, like right now, her defense attorney is about to give, his speech on why she shouldn't go to jail, and you're just gonna be like, wow, wow, wow. So this is a more interesting case, not necessarily a spicy case.
Your attorney may be arguing for moving forward. Additionally, you'll have travel restrictions. You'll be required to contact your probation officer about travel, so make sure you connect with your attorney about that as well. And to the crime of DUI, ma'am, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, and has anybody made any threats or any promises to you or to anybody else to make you make that plea here today?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to find that you're knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily making that plea of guilty. The statement of facts as outlined in the plea paperwork indicates on or about March 12, 2024 in Clark County, Washington, within the city limits of Battleground, I knowingly drove a motor vehicle and within 2 hours thereafter provided a blood alcohol concentration of over 0.15. Is that a true and correct statement of what you did to make you guilty, ma'am? All right, is prosecutor satisfied with statement of facts?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and I do believe these are sufficient statement of facts to support a guilty plea. I will find you guilty, ma'am. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, or you've signed off here on the plea paperwork. And then in terms of sentencing, are we proceeding to sentencing at this time?
I believe so.
We're prepared to do that, Your Honor. I know it's an unusual circumstance with a significant.
I think 0.315. 0.315. It's over a 3. I've been waiting to hear what they say exactly, because they only say it once, and every time else they just say it was over a 0.3. So 0.315.
Risk of jail time to simply go to a plea. However, we believe that there is some merit in this alternative. I briefed it in the sentencing memorandum that I provided to the court, and I think that there's some merit there. So I understand if, because of the weight of the argument, the court might want to consider it or take it under advisement, but we are prepared to go forward today.
If I may, Mr. Brandenburg, I did not get the opportunity to review the sentencing memo yet. So if you would like to proceed and maybe outline some of your issues, or if you'd like to recall this case, so I had the opportunity to actually review it. I just didn't see it in my file before we took the bench this afternoon.
Your Honor, I don't think it's something that is beyond what you're very familiar with. I know that you've seen these cases, you've prosecuted them, you understand what's going on here. So I can take some time if you want. Briefly, I can just kind of outline the general argument in that memorandum.
Absolutely, go ahead.
So, Your Honor, the issue here is just this alternative that we're arguing, and for reference, the RCW and pertinent part, it's 46615055. 3 sub B sub I. And it grants.
Give me that one more time, Counselor. Is
Yes.
it in your memo? I just want to look at the language here.
It is. It's in the memo.
Gotcha.
On page 2.
Thank you.
46615055. And then there's some subsection 3BI.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Go ahead, Counsel.
And I've outlined it there, Your Honor. 120 days of imprisonment and 120 days of electronic home monitoring may not be suspended or converted unless the court finds that the imposition of this mandatory minimum sentence would impose a substantial risk to the offender's physical or mental well-being. And then I've just basically copied and pasted the RCW, Your Honor, but it goes on to say if there is a substantial risk, then you may order 360 days of electronic home monitoring. What I included in the sentencing memorandum was an exhibit from her active treatment counselor, Anna Gavrishova, who indicated, based on her training and experience, she states, and this is exhibit A, 1 of 1 attached to my memorandum.
And I am looking at that.
Very well.
Counsel.
Second paragraph, Your Honor, she states, it is my opinion that sentencing Ms. Griffith to jail would impose a substantial risk to her physical and mental well-being and would significantly impact her progress toward maintaining the mental health stability and long-term sobriety. So that in a nutshell. I have further argument to make about kind of her background, how we got here. I know that the city may want to be heard before we go there, but
I think that would be helpful, just so we can narrow down the argument if there's limited issues. So knowing that, and knowing counsel's position, Madam Prosecutor, your position.
Yes, Your Honor. It is our position that
Before Miss Carmi gets into it, did you guys hear that right? She got a letter from a doctor saying it's not good for her mental health to go to jail. I don't think it's good for anyone's mental health to go to jail. This is her 3rd DUI in 7 years, and she was over a 0.3. There's mandatory minimums for a reason. Yeah, everyone gets depressed or go to jail. It's jail. All right, let's keep going.
of course, I think in any scenario, jail is a significant, scary, difficult place to be for many people. I don't have anything in Ms. Griffith's file that would show me that there's this substantial risk to her physical or mental well-being beyond what probably would apply to anyone else coming into this court. I understand, she is taking responsibility, she's here, but this was a BAC level of over 0.3. This was a very high BAC level, frankly, one of the highest I've seen in Battleground, and a BAC level that tells me if you're able to even function at that level, there's a significant alcohol issue. We are asking that I think it's beyond fair for the city to even ask for the mandatory minimum. I mean, frankly, probably a third within 7 years probably gets you closer to the max, but we are asking this court to impose jail of 120 days and the mandatory EHM along with other standard DUI terms. We think that that is sufficient. Again, the times that I've seen the alternative used are more in a situation of a very significant life-threatening illness that requires daily treatment that maybe the jail can't provide. I mean, that is not the case here. Again, I'll just reiterate, I certainly understand jail's not the preferred place for many, many people, but there has to be a consequence here that is more than EHM monitoring for a year and you stay home. I mean, this is a 0.3, third DUI in 7 is a significant community safety risk. And I worry what the future holds even after this sentence is done. So I think from a community safety standpoint, the city simply can't agree to a slap on the wrist and some EHM. It's just, it doesn't, the facts don't bear that out here.
All right, thank you, Madam Prosecutor.
All right, real quick. For those of you that don't know what EHM is, it's electric home monitoring. It's house arrest. So the mandatory minimum for her is 120 days in jail. What they say, 120 days of EHM as well. I mean, 4 months in jail. I think that's enough to scare her straight if she's never been in jail before. Yeah, doesn't sound like she has been. So I think that might be enough jail time. But she needs to stop drinking. If you can, I'm struggling with my words here. If you can operate a car at a 0.3, let alone stand up at a 0.3, you got to stop drinking, and you probably are going to need the help of a hospital to do it, because you're probably going to go through really hard withdrawal if you can get that high, and still function somewhat. All right, let's continue.
Additional argument, defense?
Your Honor, it's tough anytime you're dealing with a case where addiction is involved. Addiction is a disease. Recovery is not a straight line. And to that end, this is a case where early on, my client considered what's led her here and what factors continue to cause this behavior. And it's substance use disorder. She engaged in a 45-day inpatient treatment program. She has ongoing substance use disorder along with general counseling. And that's Ms. Gavrishova, who's been providing her that care. I won't delve.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said that she probably needs the help of a hospital to do it.
Into the specifics, but there is a ton of prior trauma here that I think also has contributed to what I believe is the substance use disorder. And I base that too on my experience as a drug court attorney for several years now. You know, we've got folks that are on pre-plea felonies in drug court that aren't looking at any jail time, and that's as to fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamine, who knows what. But we're balancing that against what we have from the legislature, which is a very strict guideline about the imposition of these mandatory minimums. And I get that. I think what we're also conflicted by is that there's not a lot of clarity within this alternative, this 360-day EHM alternative. There's not a lot of clarity about what substantial risk means. It is the professional opinion of her counselor that she would pose a substantial risk. That is the evidence that's been presented to you. There's no conflicting evidence. Counsel's point is well taken, though. There are certainly instances where it's a medical issue and it's an expense problem for the jail. They feel like they're going to be strapped. That might not make sense. I submit that the 360 days of electronic monitoring, it's kind of maybe colloquially judged that it's the easy way out. It's not. It is going to be expensive. She's going to be paying for this time. She is going to be spending a lot of money and a lot of restricted time being accountable for this behavior. Jail is a timeout. There's going to be 120 days of a timeout until perhaps the next issue comes up, unless she is able to deal with this addiction. And my argument really specifically as to this alternative is that if she's allowed to participate in this alternative program for nearly a year, she's going to maintain her ongoing treatment with her provider. It's going to be more consistency. There's going to be better efficacy with that treatment. And that is truly going to deter the behavior that has been raised by the city. I think that's the very reason why this alternative probably exists. And I think the legislature could have probably crafted better specifics about what that means. In fact, there's not a whole lot of case law on point, but I think that it suggests that there's an alternative to just here's 4 months of jail and hope that cleared it up. Jail is not going to ever beat addiction. We know that. That's why we have therapeutic programs. If this were potentially charged as a felony or were another serious crime, it may have well been in our Clark County Drug Court. She may not have served any significant time. So that's the balancing issue of what we face with felonies versus something like a DUI, which I do respect that there's a community risk. She's taken huge initiative here to deal with her struggles, which she has not previously. I mean, we don't always know when the light bulb's going to come on with recovery. And based on my experience, I believe it has here. And I think we protect this community better with the position of this alternative. She's going to lose her license. She's not going to be able to drive. The community is not going to be at risk. The real issue that I believe is dealing with this disease of addiction. And I think because this alternative exists, that's the best way we deal with it. So to that end, we would ask the court to follow the law as it is allowed in this unique circumstance. And I understand the court's faced with a huge balancing test. This is the bottom right-hand corner of the DUI grid. You don't always see that. But we also have this alternative that's down there too. And I think that when it's available, we should avail ourselves to it if we know the evidence supports beating this addiction, and true recovery is what's going to deter future behavior. Thank you.
All right. I got a few things to say. First, he's doing a really good job defending his client right here. So kudos to him. Not easy defending a third time DUI to try to keep her out of jail when there's a mandatory minimum. And he's trying his best. He brought in, some statute that said that there is an alternative. You don't have to do the minimum. It was probably his only go. So I wouldn't be surprised if he asked her to go to her physician and ask for a letter. That's what it sounds like. But here's the thing. It's not the court's obligation to help her beat her addiction. That's not what the court's there for. This is not a drug court. If she was in a drug court, yes, there are tools there to help you beat the addiction. They just want her to stop driving. Jail will get her to stop driving. Taking away her license will not guarantee she won't drive. It's just that simple. We see it every day in court. People drive. If you have the ability to drive, people will drive. If they have a license or not. Even if they've never been pulled over, never had a ticket, never done anything wrong, they'll still drive.
Thank you, counsel. All right, ma'am, this is very serious, what we're dealing with here today. You heard the prosecutor's concerns, and some of those similar concerns are outlined by your attorney as well. We have serious concern for your safety, ma'am, but also for the community's safety, because these are very serious allegations. Your attorney is correct. The legislator has outlined some alternatives for very specific circumstances where these mandatory minimum requirements can be adjusted. One of those specific circumstances, as your attorney pointed out, is for the substantial risk to your physical or mental well-being. That's specifically outlined in the statute. The only evidence I have right now at this point as to that specific issue is the letter from your licensed practitioner. It looks like your licensed mental health counselor has substantial experience, substantial training, has been seeing you for a little bit of time here, and in her professional opinion, this would meet those requirements as outlined by the statute and would impact and impose a substantial risk to your physical and mental well-being. So I do believe the evidence that's presented to me at this point, I don't have anything additional from a different licensed mental health professional stating otherwise. I only have one professional here saying they have treated you and you're their patient, and it's their professional medical opinion that you fall in line with the substantial risk here. So I am going to find that the jail time does meet the statutory requirement of the substantial risk to your mental or physical health based on this letter from your medical provider. I'm going to follow the alternative, but with some adjustments. So a couple of questions for counsel. The EHM that's proposed, is that proposed with the alcohol monitoring?
I think that I was reviewing that again, Your Honor, earlier, as I think we all do. We come back to the grid to make sure we're reading it correctly. What I understand is that if there's not a 24/7 sobriety program, then it's the alcohol monitoring. So that would be an additional expense that she would bear.
Correct.
And the court does have authority to do that.
To your knowledge, counsel, is there a maximum on EHM where if I give her additional days, they're going to say we're not going to be able to monitor for this long? Do they max out at a year? I don't recall if they do or not.
But with the alcohol monitoring, do they
Correct.
max out of the year? I don't have an answer to that, Your Honor.
All right.
I'm sorry.
If two watch has been ordered, they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I agree with the state. This is not a mandatory minimum case, ma'am. I am going to convert I'm converting all of your jail time to electronic home confinement, but I am going to order you to spend 450 days on electronic home confinement. That is over a year. Hopefully, you'll be engaged in all of this treatment that you've been engaged with. You'll continue to be successful and you'll continue to be sober and no longer continue to be a threat to the community or yourself. There is a lessened threat to the community by you no longer having your license or privilege to drive, and that being a 4-year suspension at minimum. But additionally, you're going to be monitored on that alcohol monitoring for the entire 450 days. Any violations of that, ma'am, any violations, you could be coming back in for jail time. And at that point in time, we may be having a full evidentiary hearing with different medical professionals who may have different opinions about what jail time may do for you mentally or physically, ma'am. So I want to stress this very seriously. You need to comply with the orders of the court. The orders are to stay sober, focus on your health, focus on yourself. Do not get in trouble again. We're going to have some additional conditions of your sentence. Do one of you have some paper? Oh, perfect.
I do. I was just waiting to hear your honor's ruling.
Yes,
My
thank you.
Only question.
All right, real quick. This is a pro tem judge. She's sitting in Judge Wheeler's spot right now. I would love to know what Judge Wheeler would have done. So instead of 4 months in jail, 4 months of EHM, she got 1.5 years of EHM. Which, I mean, it's a longer time being, for sobriety. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But hey, if after 1.5 years she's completely clean and she never drinks again, and this is successful, she made the right choice. But it's really hard to see that right now for what she's done.
And is how to word this, and your honor
Yes.
probably has more experience. Since the max jail sanction is 364 on this, it asks me to suspend how much, and if we're giving her more than a 364-day sentence, I don't know how to fit that in, and I'm not actually, can we order more than 364?
Well, and if I may, I think.
And I don't know the answer.
Part of the issue too is that this is not merely a conversion, but the jail time is suspended. So we're not simply converting it from jail days to EHM. We're opposing the EHM, and then that allows the court all of the 364 days to impose if there's a violation.
That was my understanding as well. So it'd be 364 with 364 suspended with 450 to spend on EHM. So that's 3.
She's gonna be she's gonna have what is it, a scram tether? I don't know if they use what they use in Washington. In Michigan they use the scram tethers, but she's gonna have the device on her at all times. So, she may try to cheat the system. People that do that often lose. So we don't know.
364 days hanging over your head, ma'am. If you violate any of your conditions of sentence,
Okay.
it's up to 364 days of additional incarceration, jail, electronic home confinement, depending on what happens. But again, we're not going to be in that realm, and you're going to be successful moving forward and stay sober.
And then, your honor, repeat again the number of days on EHM, and then I can.
450 days on EHM, and then 364 with all 364 suspended. In terms of the fines and fees, this is a retained case.
It is, Your Honor.
All right, so we're going to stick with mandatory minimum
Okay.
fines and fees on this. You're going to have extreme expenses here on that electronic home confinement. It is very expensive, but it is a benefit alternative to jail for.
Yeah, and they drop down from the drones, right? That's what's going on with those drones. No, they're being flown by elves tracking people. That's what's going on.
you at this point in time. So
I've add that up right now, your honor.
2,945.50 will be your mandatory minimum fine. All other fines and fees standard.
I have a 150 filing fee, request for a 250 alcohol violator fee, $43 criminal conviction fee, 102.50 criminal traffic fee, and then finally the $200 emergency response fee.
Yes, I'm ordering all of those.
Okay, total 3,691. And then what I have included for your honor to review are the standard conditions of 60-month bench probation, the substance use evaluation, completion, victims impact panel, and then use of no alcoholic
Correct.
beverages.
So Everything that the prosecutor has outlined are standard DUI conditions. Ma'am, I am ordering you to complete all of those conditions. It'll be 5 years on bench probation. You do need to remain sober for the entirety of your probation. I encourage you to continue that moving forward. The additional conditions, as she outlined, were those fees that she added up, total $3,691. Then the additional, you're going to have to get the substance use evaluation, comply with any treatment that they recommend, continue what you're doing already with your treatment if it's working for you as well. You're going to have to complete the victims impact panel. Your attorney can talk to you about how you can sign up for that as well. And then again, as I mentioned, no alcoholic beverages, no non-prescription drugs. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No.
All right, so we're going to have you come back on April 15th at 1:30 p.m. We're going to review your substance abuse evaluation. We're going to check in on how it's going, if you have any issues with the ankle monitor or the home confinement. And then we're going to check on your victims panel as well. Yes. April 17th, thank you.
Oh, that was my mistake. I was thinking tax.
That's okay. This is a conflict one. So
Correct.
we were going to have me come back on the 17th, and I think we're going to switch because Judge Wheeler's out the first week of April. April 3rd. Or yeah, April 3rd, June 26th. Either of those
Sooner or later.
preference?
Yep, yep.
Either way, it's fine.
Do you want to do it sooner to start going? Okay, let's do April then, Your Honor.
All right, we'll do April 3rd, 2025, and we'll put you at 3. Well, we can leave you at 1:30 because I'll be here the whole docket. All right. Anything further on this matter?
Nothing from defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, nothing from the city.
All right, great. Good luck to you, ma'am. Stay in touch with your attorney. Make sure you stay in touch with your treatment folks and complete these conditions. And hopefully we just see you back here for positive check-ins.
All right, thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
You're welcome. All right.
All right. All right. I know. I already made my gave my opinion though. Hopefully she does well. If not, the judge is going to look really bad for going against the minimums. Just saying. All right, let's move on. John, thank you so much for becoming a new member, which I think that might be a YouTube glitch. I'm going to guess that you've been getting the gifted memberships because you've been here a long time. But if you did just become a new member, thank you, John. I'm just so used to seeing you around. But I do appreciate it. And MB, Saturday special. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the super chat. Speaking of super chats, I had an extremely generous PayPal come in last night, and I meant to thank Kirk at the beginning during the intro, but I messed up my intro. So I just totally lost track of what I was going to say. So Kirk, thank you so much for the PayPal. I do appreciate it. That was extremely generous of you. Thanks, bud. Hopefully you're watching. If you are, say hi in the chat. All right, let's move on. Okay, this next case is just, I have it in here for one reason and one reason only. This court decided to make their green screen Microsoft Paint, and it is hilarious to watch. The case is just okay, but it's the Microsoft Paint that got me.
You're welcome.
Over
You'll
here, sir.
be able to have visitation with you there. You bet. You bet. Well, sir, could you state your name?
David Lewis Williams.
Okay, Mr. Williams. All right, sir, do you still?
Nanya, thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships. That is very generous of you. Welcome to the 10 new members. Nanya, thank you so much. That is awesome.
Live on Idlewise?
No, not me, sir. I'll stay in Phoenix.
All right, let me just double check some paperwork I have here.
Well, if you get anxiety from Microsoft Paint, then have your physician write a letter, and I'll excuse you from tonight's stream.
North Central.
Okay, is it, yeah, the North Central Avenue address?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, they've got it correct on the citation, but not on the booking paperwork. So let me just do a real quick correction to that, sir. Have you ever lived on Idlewise?
No, I always been to Phoenix my whole life.
Okay. Who knows what they were doing then?
They're nice people. They probably just, I don't know where they got that address from.
You and I both wonder.
Yeah.
And that's Phoenix. Um, 85002.
Of course, he just started shouting out the address.
021.
Yeah.
Stop! Stop!
All right. Your phone number ends in 4001.
Yes.
Hey, we got one right.
Okay.
All right, sir. I also have an email address for you. It looks like an address, 5231.
Well,
Enough. We don't need to put the rest of it on record.
yeah,
All right, sir. The state is alleging a charge of driving on a suspended, revoked, or canceled driver's license. That's a Class 1 misdemeanor. You have the right to remain silent, right to counsel, and right to trial on that charge. The Class 1 misdemeanor carries a maximum fine of $2,500, 6 months in jail, and/or 3 years probation. There is no mandatory minimum, so basically the court has a discretion from 0 up to that maximum. Rest assured that you're not facing any jail time of the charge. The prosecutor hasn't submitted any notice of jail for you, so that's not part of the sentencing that would occur. With your permission, I would like to.
I would embarrass myself, not because of my ability to write on paint, because I don't know how to spell definitely. I have to use spell check every time I do, so that's why I use def instead of definitely. Just saying. I'm joking, but seriously, kinda. But joke, kinda, seriously.
To move forward into an arraignment. So this is your initial appearance that we're doing right now to inform you of the charges, verify your address, which I'm glad we do because somebody on William or on Idlewise was getting ready to get some mail sent to him, and make you aware of the charges. To go to the arraignment, that's where I take a plea from you, but I need to see if you waive your personal appearance. So you could stand in front of me and tell me that you want to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest. Or, since we're here, we're doing this by video and at the convenience of the court and convenience of you, instead of having you shipped over here and all of that, we could do this by video, but I'd need you to waive your personal appearance. Do you understand, sir?
yes, sir. I'm waiving it.
Okay, so we'll waive your personal appearance. Again, the charge is the driving suspended. I told you the maximum penalty. There is no mandatory minimum, and there's not jail time. Your options are to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest.
I plead guilty on the under.
All right, I still got to cover.
Yes.
All right, before I take your plea, I still got to cover some other preliminary things. So, you have the right to an attorney also. Since there's no jail time, you're not entitled to a court-appointed attorney, so you would have to hire one yourself. I understand, sir. I just still have to put it on record that we're doing this. So your options then are to proceed without an attorney or go hire yourself. You understand that, correct?
Yes.
All right. Do you wish to proceed without an attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to send you a form that talks about waiving your personal appearance and additionally talks about waiving the presence of an attorney, all on the same form, okay? So you'll have to sign that, waiving both of them. All right, sir. I've explained to you the plea possibilities. If you plead guilty or no contest, we'll move forward into sentencing right here and now. If you plead not guilty, I'll schedule you back to court for a pre-trial conference. That's where you'll actually meet with the prosecutor and discuss the case. They may share the police report with you. At the conclusion of that meeting, one of 3 things will happen. 1, the case will go to a trial. You'll have to come back to court again. Or 2, the case could enter.
Yeah, there's clearly 2 L's in my name, and I just always forget to put the second one in. So you're absolutely right.
A plea agreement that all parties agree on. Or 3, the case could be dismissed. Do you understand those options, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Regarding your plea of guilty, not guilty, or no contest, do you still wish to plead guilty?
No contest, sir.
All right. No contest means that you're not admitting nor denying the facts of the case. You will have to acknowledge a set of circumstances that I'm going to provide to you that would be provided in trial if the case were to go to trial, okay?
Okay. Excuse me, I got one question.
Go ahead.
Do no contest mean I'm just like, do I have to plead no contest if I just like, I know I'm guilty of the charges?
Well, no contest, I'll explain that to you again. So guilty means I committed this violation, I'm guilty of it, okay?
Yeah.
No contest means you're not admitting it, nor are you denying it, but it still will be sentenced. And a conviction will be entered. Does that clarify that for you?
Thank you.
Okay, is that what you wish to maintain, the no contest plea? Otherwise, you plead not guilty and I have you come back to court for the pre-trial conference. And then if you continue to plead not guilty, then we set it for trial unless they offer you a plea agreement that you accept or dismiss it.
Guilty.
You want to change your plea from no contest to guilty?
To guilty. I'm guilty of the charge, yes.
Okay, sir, I'll change your plea. If you have any questions, please ask me. That's what I'm here for.
Well, like I said, I got extenuating circumstances because I actually thought that my girlfriend had took care of this problem. Because I drive this car every day to work, and I even worked at the same police station.
All right, sir, what I'll do is...
So I don't know if it was...
Yeah,
to me, I wouldn't have came this far with my license being suspended and stuff.
All right,
I would never get that.
Okay, so I don't mean to interrupt, sir. What I'm going to do is take your guilty plea, and I'll hear the rest of that statement when we come to the sentencing portion to take it into consideration, okay? Yeah, so if you're pleading guilty, but you want to explain why to the court, just give me a moment so I can get through some other portions, and then I'll absolutely be willing to hear that statement, okay?
Gotcha.
All right, so I'm going to enter your guilty plea.
Okay.
And let me go through a couple other forms here that I've got to get done. All right, so I want to make sure that you understand some of the collateral consequences that are possible that happens to you, okay? A possible suspension of your driver's license, an impact on a CDL or other professional license, an impact on your insurance rates, the revocation of any probation or parole if you're on any, increased penalty for further criminal charges, becoming a prohibited possessor if it's a domestic violence charge, which it's not, doesn't apply to this case. If you are not a U.S. citizen, this could result in deportation or you being denied citizenship or reentry. Okay? I also want to make you aware that you have the right of the rights that you're giving up by pleading guilty to the charge. Let me get a moment to catch up the paperwork. I got to change your address that we have on here back to the Phoenix one. Uh, 17222 North Central Avenue. All right, sir. Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Okay. Okay, the following are the rights that you're giving up by pleading guilty. The right to plead not guilty and require the state to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The right to have a trial in front of a judge. The right to have the assistance of an attorney at all stages of the proceeding, including appeal, and we talked about that, and you're waiving the presence of an attorney already. The right to confront witnesses against you and cross-examine them as to the truthfulness of their testimony. The right to present evidence in your own behalf and have the court subpoena witnesses in favor of your case free of charge to you. The right to remain silent and to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And also the right to a direct appeal. Are you a school teacher, sir?
No.
Okay, I need to advise you of a citizen's advisory. If you are not a citizen of the United States, pleading guilty or no contest to a crime may affect your immigration status. Admitting guilt may result in deportation even if the charge is later dismissed. Your plea or admission of guilt could result in your deportation or removal, could prevent you from ever being able to get legal status in the United States, or prevent you from becoming a United States citizen. Understanding these rights that I just explained to you is to give them up and enter your guilty plea?
Excuse me, sir. Did you ask me was I a school teacher?
Correct.
Okay, just wondering.
Yeah, we have to ask that to see if it affects your teaching license.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Do you understand?
Yes,
And do you wish to give up all those rights that I just explained and give a guilty plea?
yes.
All right, sir, you may file a Rule 33 petition for post-conviction relief, and if denied, file a petition for review. I'll give you a paper that explains what that is. It'll also explain to you how to set aside the judgment of conviction pursuant to Arizona Revised Statutes 13905 once all the terms of the sentence have been completed, and you may qualify for a certificate of second chance and seal the records pursuant to Arizona Revised Statutes 13911 once the terms of the sentence and timeframes therein have been satisfied. That paper will explain all of that to you, okay? Let me give you a factual basis. This is where you're admitting that these are the facts of the case. So, one moment. I'm not going to use them. Okay. It indicates that on January 9th of 2025 at about 8:49 p.m., you were contacted at or near milepost 251.5 on Highway 87. That is in Gila County in the jurisdiction of this court. The Gila County Sheriff's Office had contacted you and found that your driver's license was suspended, revoked, or canceled upon that contact. You are here today pleading guilty to that charge, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. There's additional charges that are civil traffic violation. One of them is displaying a plate that's suspended for financial responsibility. There's also a citation here of no valid driver's license and an additional charge of no mandatory insurance. On those violations, your options are to plead either responsible or not responsible to those violations. So the registration of the vehicle was suspended due to not having insurance. And then also, there was no insurance given to the deputy for the vehicle. And then he also cited for no driver's license. My intentions on the no driver's license violation is it's already charged with the driving suspended, revoked, or canceled. So if you plead responsible to those civil traffic violations, I'm suspending that fine to the no possession of driver's license, just so you're aware.
If I plead guilty to it?
Yeah, if you plead responsible to those civil...
Responsible, yes.
Yeah,
But
if you,
he
yeah.
had my driver's license.
Pardon me?
When he wrote me out the ticket for the no insurance,
Yes.
he had my driver's license. So what did it mean that I didn't have a driver's license?
What it means is that you have no valid driver's license. So he cited you for driving on a suspended, revoked, or canceled license, and then he additionally cited you for no valid driver's license.
Okay, that's this guy.
Right. So that's why
Okay.
I'm informing you that on that no valid driver's license, if you're pleading responsible to those, I intend on not putting any punishment on that charge because this court feels that you already are punished by the driving suspended, revoked, or canceled. You understand?
Gotcha.
Okay. On those civil traffic violations, sir, how do you wish to plea on those?
Is the silver ones are for here? The ones you just explained to me?
Yeah, the insurance ticket, the suspended registration
Is
ticket.
that what you said? I'm supposed to say responsible?
If you're responsible, correct.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
If you feel you're responsible for those violations, then you plead responsible. If you feel you're not responsible for those, then I'll schedule you for a civil traffic hearing at a later date for those.
Responsible for it, sir.
All right. I've entered that on that violation. So again, to finish out this factual basis, again, those violations occurred in Gila County. I think that's all I needed to add to it. So.
Okay.
All right, and then let me get up here. It appeared without counsel, plea to the court, pled guilty. Pled guilty. Okay, sir, regarding your plea of guilty and responsible, you're making those pleas on your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Nobody forced, threatened, or harassed you to make those pleas?
Nope.
Did anybody promise you a lighter sentence or punishment other than what we've discussed here regarding the plea?
No, sir.
All right, sir. What I'll be sending you is a form that will have my initials up and down the left column of it. That's the rights that I read to you that you're waiving by entering your guilty plea. So it requires your signature also. All right, the next form I need to talk to you about is, do you wish to give further statement to
I want this to be over so bad. I played it because I thought it was funny of the background. In this case, this is an ending.
the court before I impose a sentencing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember getting a ticket for the no insurance in Phoenix, you know.
Okay.
And the guy told me, he said, I don't have to, DPS officer was real nice about it. He said, you don't have to show up. You can have, I told him I could have my girlfriend come in with the insurance card stating that the vehicle will be insured, right? She told me that she had done it. The officer last night, I actually gave him the card that she gave me.
Okay.
And he said, yes, it was, what is that, when you let it lapse.
Right.
So when he was nice enough to even let me call my girl.
Okay.
And when I called her, she said it was either insurance or food.
Huh. Okay.
So, no insurance.
Okay. Understood.
Yep.
All right, sir. So what I'm going to do is give you, is that all you wish to say?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you some opportunities to kind of clean some of this up. And then that way, if you're able to do that, it's going to reduce your fines. Okay. So the first one is the driving suspended violation. That's a standard fine of $441. However,
Okay.
if you're able to get a valid driver's license within 30 days of today's date, I'll reduce that down to $182, okay? So I'm hoping you're able to do that. Fix whatever problem is holding your driver's license. You'll have to pay for that, I'm sure. It's a ticket or something unpaid somewhere. And then get that corrected. Then go to motor vehicle, get a good license. Email us a copy of your valid driver's license. That's all. You don't have to drive all the way back here.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, so just email it to us. And if we
Email it.
receive that within 30 days of today's date, I'll reduce the fine. Understood?
Okay. I'll get all this in writing.
What's that?
I will get all this in writing.
You are going to get it in writing, correct?
Okay, because
Yeah.
I can't trust her no more. I got to do it myself now.
Okay. The second violation is for the not having insurance at all. That is a standard fine of $943. It's very expensive, okay?
Yes.
So here's what you can do, is if you're able to go get insurance, 6 months or more policy,
Okay.
then go to motor vehicle and get what they call an MVR, motor vehicle record of 39 months, that back date, and you don't show any other insurance violations. Okay, so that's a key part.
Yeah.
If it doesn't show any other insurance violations, submit that to the court with your insurance. We'll reduce that $943 to $182. Okay, so that's a significant savings.
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay, that also has to be done within 30 days of today's date.
Take care of myself. Sheesh.
All right, the registration that is suspended because of insurance is an imposed fine of $495. I can't change that. Okay.
Okay.
The final violation is not having a valid driver's license that you've pled responsible to. I'm suspending that fine and not adding any amount to that. So what happens is today your balance is $1,948.50. Are you able to pay that today?
I have to look at, see what's on my bank card, Your Honor.
Well,
I can
okay.
give you what I can give you.
All right. Well, it's okay. I can put you on a payment plan, but by doing that, it adds a one-time fee of $20 per statute.
Well, one more thing.
Yes.
If I can get, I should have wrote the number down because I could have called the company I work for and I could have cashed in vacation time and everything and took care of this. I just don't walk around with $1,000, you know.
Understood. Well,
Yeah.
sir, you're going to be released from custody today. The court stops receiving payments at about 4:15 p.m. So you're going to be out about 2:15, 2:30, depending on the jail staff and how busy they are. So you'll have a couple hours that if you wanted to go to the bank up here and come back and pay it today, that's fine. If you don't want to, or you don't think you can, I can just put you on a payment plan, schedule you out for your first payment in 30 days. That way you're not trying to rush all this, but it does add 20.
That amount of money.
Huh?
I don't think I have that amount of money, but
Okay.
I can probably.
No, you can pay $50 a month or whatever you can afford.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. That makes sense.
All right, so let's do that. I'll schedule your first payment out 30 days from today, okay? You can pay before then if you want.
As soon as I can get back to work, I'm gonna have the company pay it all.
How much?
Get-
Okay, how much can you pay in 30 days?
If I get to, like I said, if I get to work, I have them pay it all within a matter of a week or two, less than a week, as soon as they can.
So do you want me just to do $500 payments then?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm gonna pay it all off. As soon as I get to work, I can tell them, hey, I need this. You know, they're a good company.
Okay,
They'll take care of that for me.
okay, so I'll say you're going to be able to pay $500 within 30.
Okay, 500. Yes.
Now hear me out because I want to make sure this is clear.
Okay.
If you don't pay the 500 in 30 days, then there'll be a problem.
I got you, but no, this is gonna be taken care of.
Okay,
Sitting there all night about this. I can't trust nobody else to take care of my problem.
okay.
Gotta do it myself now. I understand my girl, you know, it's been a rough year last year. But no, this is trouble I could have did without. I was on my way to go do some work at home to make extra money. And look what happened.
All right, sir. So I'll indicate $500 that's due
Yeah,
in 30 days,
that'd be-
30 days or less, and then
Yeah.
the next payment of 500, or unless you want to pay it all off, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what we
Okay, so that's called the judgment and sentencing form. All of that stuff that I just covered with you is written down on there. Okay. The final.
That's total cost 1,000 something you said.
Yeah, and that'll be at the bottom here. You're gonna have to sign it, and it'll be circled at the bottom, 1,968.50, because we added a $20 payment plan fee, and you have a $69 jail fee for the one night in jail. Okay.
They charge
Oh yeah, yeah. Every defendant pays a daily charge. But here's the good news: is Gila County's like one of the cheapest in the state. If you're in Maricopa, it'd almost be double that. So I don't know if our food maybe is not as good. I have no idea. All right, sir. So the form that you'll get is the judgment and sentencing, and then the final one is the warnings and notice of rights, and that's just that information I told you about how to seal the records and set aside the judgment. Question, go ahead.
They impounded my car.
Okay.
Now, I don't want my $600 car to turn into a $5,000 car. Is there any way I can get my car out? And not drive it, I'll call AAA to ship my car back if I have to, because I got AAA.
So that's a good.
I can't afford to have a car sitting in the impound that I know they just gonna run the charges up on.
Okay, sir. So the law enforcement agency that did the charging, just contact them and see what it takes to get your car back.
These guys?
Huh?
I said, you said who do I contact? I don't know who I contact.
Who do you know? What law
Say
enforcement?
he'll help me.
All right. The law enforcement agency is the Gila County Sheriff's Office.
Gila County Sheriff.
You're actually in their facility right now.
Okay, he's the officer next right to me said he'll help me with that.
Yeah. Okay. So they'll let you know how to get and who to contact and get the car out. The court doesn't govern that.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Any other questions on that, sir?
No, I'm good, sir.
All right. Sounds good. We'll get the paperwork sent over here in a moment.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I am so sorry. I did not know that was that long of a case. I should have. I'm the one who put it in there. I thought it was like a 5 to 10 minute case. And again, I just thought it was funny for the background. The guy was charming though. At least it wasn't dreadful. It was just not that exciting. All right, let's move on to something a little bit more exciting. Traffic. Trying to make court sound fun. This is magistrate. Can't think of his name off the top of my head. This is an 80-year-old fighting a parking ticket. It's kind of funny. He parked in a fire lane. Yeah, we'll just keep it at that. Let's go.
Yours is ticket 24.
You're right. You're right. I also, because I was so ready for that to be over, I almost skipped all the super chats and things. Mayor, so good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're well. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I do appreciate it. Welcome to the 5 new members. Cheshire Cat, 8 months. Thank you so much, Cheshire. I appreciate it. Late Fee Cinnamon says hi. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Also, Mayor, I don't know if Mayor is still here, but yeah. When this name first popped up in my chat, I didn't even attempt it. It's like, nope, not even gonna try it. This is Cinnamon Prostitute Cat from this day forward. So this is the Cinnamon Prostitute Cat. Get your singles. Cinnamon is here. All right, let's go.
BE 05082. The ticket was for parking in a fire lane. It was issued on the 15th of December, about 4:24 in the afternoon. Fire lane was near Oxford, on Oxford near Coolidge. You've got 3 options. You can admit or deny responsibility, or you can admit responsibility with an explanation. How do you wish to proceed?
Well, I kind of in the middle. The fire lane is marked by a yellow line about 60 feet long. And the yellow line stops. And
Fire lane is not marked with a yellow line. A yellow line is a line from a curb. A fire lane, if it's marked with a color, is marked with red.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Fire lanes are usually posted by signs.
There was a sign there, but.
So you're admitting responsibility?
Well, wait a minute. I'm 87 years old. I sometimes go out late to the Symphony or Baker's keyboard. So I mentioned to the manager one day that I had to.
Okay, we're not here, sir. I asked you a question, and you're talking about all kinds of other things. Are you admitting or are you denying responsibility for parking in the fire lane?
I'm denying responsibility.
Raise your right hands, please.
Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, the lieutenant will testify first.
Sorry, that was yes for me. Also, I was muted at that moment. Your Honor, was covering a day shift on the date in question here, December 15th. I got a call to Oxford Towers about a vehicle parked in the fire lane. The southwest corner of the building's kind of shaped in 3 different branches. The southwest, where the main parking lot is, all of the drive along the side of the building is marked as a fire lane, no parking, for obvious reasons. So I did get there, found the vehicles in violation of parking in the fire lane. We were unable to get in touch with an owner. A citation was issued. After the incident, I was made aware that I guess this has been occurring a little bit more. Sounds like some of the issues are that there's more cars than there are spaces for the residents, and some are senior and are having to park off to the side, in the side streets because the actual parking lot itself. So from my standpoint, we do want to prevent these issues from happening. On the other hand, I am okay if we dismiss the violation based on being a resident here, and hopefully we can get the word out a little bit better about parking in this area.
Now this
the manager told me I could park there. So it was strictly the manager.
Mr. Beneluco, no one has authority to tell you can park in a fire lane.
Yes, sir, but see, okay, I misunderstood what was going on. I thought because there was a yellow line there.
Don't answer, sir, please. Every time you open your pie hole, you get it worse trouble. So stay the course, will you?
Line is for parking near an intersection. The yellow line extends back from the crosswalk. The signs are what control a fire lane, and the fire lane goes all the way from the signs all the way to the next curb.
Then I'm my mistake, but again, I was told that I could park there by the manager.
He doesn't have any authority to change the fire lanes, Mr. Beldeluco.
I understand that now, but I didn't at the time. I mean, I wouldn't break the law if I knew. I haven't had a ticket since 1972, so I'm a law-abiding citizen. I just didn't realize.
Obviously, sir. This is a parking ticket. It's not. It's a simple infraction.
Did you just see that attorney jump in real quick? Oh, hold on. She jumped in and gave a face and just caused the officer to start almost lose it. Hold on. Let's go back.
Mr. Beldeluco.
I understand that now, but I didn't at the time. I mean, I wouldn't break the law if I knew. I haven't had a ticket since 1972, so I'm a law-abiding citizen. I just didn't realize.
Obviously, sir. This is a parking ticket. Is not. It's a civil infraction. It's not a crime. There's nothing here that impugns your integrity or your veracity. Parking tickets, civil infractions, are mistakes. Now, the lieutenant has moved to dismiss the ticket, so he's predicating that on you not going to do it again. During the day, you can park on the street. Berkeley does not allow on-street parking between 2 and 5 in the morning, but I don't think you have as much of a parking crunch during the night as you have during the day, or when people could be visiting during the day or evening. So it's okay to park on the side street during the day, but just make sure you get it back into the lot so that you don't get a ticket for parking on the street. I think it's 2 to 5 now, isn't it, Lieutenant?
Yes.
So thanks to the lieutenant's motion, this matter is dismissed, sir.
Yeah, I understand that.
So you are good to go. There is no fine thanks to the lieutenant's motion.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. I appreciate it.
Well, Your Honor, thank you for your time.
Okay.
You're good to go, sir.
All right. We are moving into the last clip of the night. Dare I say this is a feel-good clip? Dare I say that? It's not. It's a weird one. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let you experience this the exact same way I experienced it. I am going to let this play out. It only is, it's like 5 minutes long. So I'm going to let it play. While I'm letting it play, I'm going to look for someone to raid. I don't usually stream Saturday nights. There might not be anyone to raid. If there is not, I will see you guys Monday night. I am not streaming tomorrow night, which is why I'm streaming tonight. So I will be back Monday night for Members Monday. Already got a video loaded to release tomorrow morning, so you will not be in an absence of contact. What am I talking about? Let's just go. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the super chats, the gifted memberships, the membership milestones. You guys are awesome. I will see you, the members, on Monday, and I'll see everyone else on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your weekend. Until next time, bye. Oh, it's not going to make you cry. Don't worry.
Hello?
No
Hello,
tears.
Mr. Washington. I am Judge Whitman with the Kansas City, Kansas Municipal Court. You have quite a few unresolved matters here. I think the most important one is you were found guilty of a domestic battery back in 2021. You were placed on probation and then failed to comply with the conditions of probation. So a motion to revoke your probation was filed. Since that time, there's been a number of other cases that you've received that are not resolved. You have, it looks like, 1 jaywalking, 1 failure to appear, 3 petty larcenies, a resisting arrest, drinking in public, urinating in public, and let's see, a trespass, and 2 trespassing. Well, hang on, 3 trespassings. What I've done is I've appointed counsel for you, Mr. Probst, who is here on the Zoom. I want you to understand that you have a right to a hearing on the probation violation, as well as trials on those 1 cases that are not resolved. So what I'd like you to do is talk to your attorney that I've appointed, Mr. Probst, to discuss with you how we need to proceed with these cases. All right? Okay.
Yes,
So
I've been in charge of that since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Like,
So
since I was 2, I'm in charge of that.
Right. Well, hang on a second. The guy that gave you the headphones, if he could put you in, ask him to put you in a breakout room, you'll be able to talk to Mr. Probst in private.
Okay.
No, I understand. So we're going to move you in so you can talk to a public defender one-on-one. Yes.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Probst.
Judge, I have had extensive experiences representing Mr. Washington in the past, as well as I know that he is no longer on an outpatient treatment order through the Wyandotte County Care and Treatment Court, but Mr. Washington has some significant mental health issues. In visiting with him about some of the things that were happening and his probation, I do not believe at this point he has a clear understanding of what he would even possibly need to do or be able to do on probation. And I don't think that he would be able to successfully complete a probation given his current mental status. At this point, I don't know what to be able to do, but I don't think that he would understand accepting a plea of guilty. He's looking at 180 days of incarceration plus what, if anything, the city would be doing in this case. So I don't think that he's competent to move forward in this particular matter, Your Honor.
Ms. Hutton? Do you have any suggestions on how to proceed? The only hold that we have is this one. The only reason he's in custody is because of us.
Your Honor, I think I would need some time to confer about whether or not I would need to send this across the street for competency and with the. So basically, I would just need some more time to try and figure out what the state's going to do. I don't have any other recommendations at this time, ma'am.
Hey, Judge, I can ask that you set it over then 1 week, just so that Ms. Hutton would have the opportunity to investigate how she wishes to proceed, and then we can readdress this next week on the jail docket.
Yeah, I will continue it till it's the January 31st date. At 1 o'clock to see how the city wishes to proceed, and then we'll work from there. But I'm going to continue with his $500 cash bond. Anybody have anything else to say?
Not from the defense perspective, Your Honor. That's the choice.
Nothing from the city. Thank you.
So, Mr. Washington, at this time, we're going to continue the matter 1 week till next Friday at 1 o'clock, and we'll all be back on the Zoom to talk. All right?
Okay, can I have you transfer you to a person that can pay the $500?
Yeah. No, don't worry about that right now. Okay?
Because somebody was shooting at me with a tank downtown.
Oh my goodness. All right.
And if they just said that was the domestic battery, that the problem was somebody was shooting at me with a tank. And they want to charge me for somebody shooting at me with a tank.
All right. Well, the person that gave you those headphones, if you give them back to him, then we'll meet back up here on next Friday.
All right, you heard it. That guy's lucky to be alive. I mean, a tank downtown. That's serious. I do love the judge's reaction. She was just like, "Oh no." Okay. I've got an interesting idea. That's why I paused it. I've got an idea, and I'm gonna do it. There's no one to raid. No one is on. No, I'm not surprised by that. But Katie Zed was here earlier, so I have it set up to raid her video that doesn't start until 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. So this is what I want you guys to do. After this video is over, we're going to raid her. It's going to send you to her chat. Let's blow up her chat so when she logs in tomorrow to start setting up for her stream, she is confused. So let's do that. So let's all go over there and just I don't know. Let's talk shit to each other. I have no idea. But we're going to do it. It could be fun. It could be dumb. I don't know. We'll see. All right. You guys are awesome. I'll see you over there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Good.